So in the last video, we discussed that what Salerino suggested as one of the possible reasons for Antonio's sadness. He is of the opinion that Antonio is sad because he is constantly worried about the possible dangers to his merchandise which were then out in the sea. However, Antonio rejects the suggestions of both Salenio and Salerino by saying that he is not worried about his business ventures and he is thankful for to his fortune for it. Now here fortune has two possible meanings. One is luck and the other one is wealth. So Antonio considers himself to be very fortunate, to be very lucky, and never before had it happened in his life that any of his ships had faced any danger while voyaging out in the sea. And moreover, he is a wealthy merchant. Being a wealthy merchant, if any misfortune happens to any one of his ships, that would not affect his financial status in the society in any ways. Moreover, his business ventures are not trusted in one ship. That means what? His business ventures are trusted in different ships. He has many cargo ships, and those cargo ships are not destined to only one particular direction. They have traveled in different directions of the world. So it is possible that some misfortune may happen to one of the ships, but then all his other ships would safely return back to Venice. So therefore he will be able to overcome the losses incurred, and his whole estate, his business enterprises, his financial position does not depend upon the business ventures of a particular year. So therefore, for all these reasons, he is not worried to think about his merchandise. What do we come to know here? We come to know that Antonio is overconfident, and at the same time Antonio is a very prudent and sensible businessman, merchant, because he has not trusted all his business operations into one single ship, and at the same time his ships are not destined in one particular direction. So therefore he is not going to be affected in any ways because of his business ventures. So he rejects the idea that he is worried because of his business ventures. Now when Antonio rejects this particular idea, Salerino then suggests that Antonio maybe probably he is sad because he is in love. So it is not wise to fall in love. People who are in love, they are never happy in their life. There is some or the other problem. So Antonio is maybe thinking about his beloved. He has fallen in love, and that is the reason for his sadness. However, Antonio rejects that it is utter nonsense to think that Antonio can ever fall in love. So he has not fallen in love. Then Salerino says, not in love neither. Now here he makes use of double negative, that is not as well as neither. So this double negative is used for the sake of emphasis that Antonio is not in love. Then he concludes that let us say that Antonio is sad because he is not merry, he is not happy. And it were as easy for Antonio to laugh and jump around and be happy and say that he is happy because he is not sad. And he says now he swears by two-headed Janus and says that nature has framed strange fellows in her time. Now, here we need to understand that who was Janus. Janus was a Roman god of doors who had two faces, one face always frowning and the other face always smiling. Generally, the head of Janus, two-faced head of Janus, was hung at the doors, one looking inwards and the other looking outwards. And here Salerino refers to the two-headed Janus in order to indicate that nature has created two different types of people with completely different types of outlooks. Now, what are these two types of people? He says that there are some people who will evermore peep through their eyes and laugh like parrots at a bagpiper. There are some people who have a very jovial nature, who have a very jolly nature, who always laugh. And when a person laughs, he laughs heartily, then you will see wrinkles are formed on their face. And when these wrinkles are formed, the eyes become smaller and it appears as if they are peeping through their eyes. They are peeping through their eyes. Okay. And these type of people, they laugh just like parrots laugh even at the sound of a bagpiper. Now parrots, they are considered to be foolish creatures. Why? Because they laugh at anything and everything. So these type of people are of such jolly nature that they laugh even at the sound of a bagpipe as foolishly as a parrot laughs at anything. And then he talks of the second category of people. There are one more category of people who have vinegar aspect. Vinegar aspect means they have a very bitter and sour expression on their face. They look so grave, so serious that they never show their teeth in the way of a smile. They always have a very angry face, a very sour and bitter expression on their face. They are so bitter in their expression, they are so grave and solemn in their outlook, that even if Nestor comes and swears the joke to be laughable, they would not show their teeth in the way of a smile. Now here a reference is made to Nestor. Who was Nestor? Nestor was an old and wise Greek general who had fought in the Trojan War. He was believed to be a very grave and solemn person. And when Nestor used to laugh at a joke, the joke was considered to be extremely funny. So here Salerino means to say that there are some kind of people who are so sour and bitter in their expression that they would not show their teeth in the way of a smile, even if Nestor comes and swears that the joke was laughable. They never smile in their life. So just at that particular moment, Bassanio and the other friends of Bassanio, that is Gratiano and Lorenzo, they were advancing towards them. So there Salerino declares that here comes Bassanio, who is the most noble kingsman. Most noble kingsman, here kingsman actually means a relative, but here probably Salerino means to say that Bassanio was a very close friend of Antonio. And Bassanio was accompanied with Gratiano and Lorenzo. So therefore Salerino bids farewell to Antonio, hoping that they are leaving Antonio in much better company. In much better company means Gratiano, Lorenzo and Bassanio will prove to be a better companion to Antonio than Salerino and Salanio. And Salerino also says that he would have been glad to stay there little further and try to make Antonio happy, had he not been prevented by worthier friends. So Bassanio, Lorenzo and Graciano are considered to be worthier friends. So he could not stay any longer because now Antonio is joined by some worthier friends. However, Antonio says that he considers Salerino and Salenio to be as dear to him as he considers Bassanio. And he says that it is maybe that they have some business needs which makes them take the leave, and not the fact that Antonio is joined by Bassanio, Lorenzo and Graciano. So they take advantage of the opportunity to address their own business needs, and that is probably the reason of their departure. So just then enter Bassanio, Lorenzo and Graciano. So today we do till here. In the next class we will be continuing with our discussion from here. Thank you.